All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to look at something you probably learned about in science class, photosynthesis, but through a totally different lens. The source we're exploring uses this one biological process to ask some really profound questions about the universe. So, could the way a simple leaf makes its food actually hold a key to, well, everything? Let's find out. So, the text we're looking at kicks off with this really thought provoking quote. It's this idea that everything is kind of pre planned, that maybe there's some hidden power guiding it all. It's that feeling you might get sometimes that there's a grand design to things, from the stars all the way down to our own lives. And that really sets the stage for where we're going next. And to really dig into this idea, the source doesn't mess around. It goes straight for the deep end, posing some of the biggest questions that people have been wrestling with for, well, forever. It really puts the question to us, is there some kind of super wisdom running the whole show? I mean, the entire universe? And, if the answer is no, then how in the world did all this incredible, complex stuff even get here in the first place? These questions lead us to a very specific and very green example. Now, you might think this is all going to be abstract philosophy, right? But this is where it gets interesting. The source zooms in on one single biological process as the key to answering these massive questions: photosynthesis. Okay, so quick refresher. What exactly is photosynthesis? Well, the source breaks it down simply for us. It's that amazing process where plants take sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide and turn them into carbohydrates, the fuel they need to grow. Basically, they're making their own food. It's chemistry that literally builds life right out of thin air and light. And this right here points to a massive difference between plants and, well, us. Plants are the ultimate self-starters, aren't they? They make their own food from the most basic stuff imaginable. But animals, humans, nope, we can't do that. We are totally 100% dependent on plants to do the hard work for us. And this is so, so important. Every single thing we eat, when you really get down to it, comes from photosynthesis. You might be a carnivore thinking, wait, I eat steak. But what did that cow eat? Plants. It all, and I mean all of it, traces back to a plant capturing a little bit of sunlight. So how does this whole thing actually work? How does a leaf pull off this incredible chemical magic trick? Well, the source gives us a simplified look at the steps involved. Okay, let's walk through it. First up, capture. The green stuff in leaves, chlorophyll, acts like a tiny solar panel, just soaking up that sunlight. Then, that light energy does something wild. It splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. And what happens to that oxygen? It gets released. Yep, that's the air we're breathing right now. Finally, the plant takes that hydrogen and combines it with carbon dioxide to create carbohydrates. And boom, that's its food. But hold on, because making food is only half the story. The source points out that this one little process is actually doing two gigantic jobs for our entire planet. Think of them as the two pillars holding up all of life. Pillar number one, as we've been saying, is that it's the ultimate source of food for pretty much everything on Earth. But pillar number two is just as massive. It's our planet's built-in air filter. It's constantly pulling carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and pumping out the fresh oxygen that we need to live, literally from one breath to the next. And this is where we tie it all back together. We've seen the science, now let's connect it back to that big philosophical question from the very beginning. So after laying out just how complex, how elegant, and how absolutely vital this whole system is, the source puts forward its big idea. It basically says, look at all this. Does this really seem like something that just happened by chance? It's suggesting that a system this perfect, this essential, feels, well, it feels designed. And that leaves us with the exact same powerful question the source ends on. After everything we've just walked through, how plants create food, how they create the very air we breathe, you're left to wonder, do you think this all just happened incidentally? Is it just one beautiful cosmic accident that makes all of life possible? It's a huge question, and the source leaves that answer up to you.